Yes, people, welcome back to the new channel. We are the South Stand MCFC. This is our second upload. First of all, I would just like to say an amazing response to the first video. Over 1,000 subs on YouTube. The video doing really well, getting shared about. And me and Daps have just returned from Paris. A lot of lads coming up to us in Paris saying the idea for the new channel is brilliant. Can we get on it? So we've been working hard behind the scenes. We've got schedules coming up. A lot of your favourite Man City content creators, a lot of new content creators getting involved. So, yeah, it's going okay. And today's our second upload. We've got a very special guest. We're going to bring him on in a minute. But Daps, we've just been to Paris. It wasn't all croissants and baguettes under the Eiffel Tower, was it?
We didn't fucking see the Eiffel Tower, did we?
No.
Champs-Elysees, nope. Moulin Rouge, nope. Bootleg bar, yep.
Yeah.
Still plenty of that.
Bootleg bar, Burger King. Yeah.
We had Paris, Istanbul.
Yeah, the greatest Turkish grill that Paris has ever seen. We managed to find that. That was good.
We saw Cheetham Row.
Oh yeah, just so you don't understand where we were staying in Paris, we was told it was beautiful. We got there, it was like Cheetham Hill Road mixed with Las Vegas, if you can imagine that. Yeah. So yeah, less said about that.
Yeah.
Shiny suits everywhere, diamantes. But no, it was mad. It was a mad trip. It was a good trip, but again, the football spoil it. Football on the rain. We should just bring Matisse in as well because he probably watched it. Yeah, you know what I mean? We've got my good friend Matisse from the Big Six, Chelsea fan. It's coming in. How are you, mate? How are you?
How you doing, brother? Come on. Yeah, man. Yeah. I was watching it. Of course, that was the main game, the headline act of the night. Barcelona, Benfica the night before. And yeah, man, I was watching first half. I was thinking, okay, it's a tight game. Both teams trying to feel each other out. Both teams are obviously not at the pinnacle level they were at previously for going for Champions League and trying to win it. And then second half, all hell just broke loose, and I didn't know what was going on. Just goals flying in everywhere. So yeah, it was crazy.
First of all,
all the goals were in the second half. I didn't even. Yeah.
The game was just mad. It was mad. And like you say, first of all, welcome to the channel, Matisse. We've got a big game at weekend, Man City, Chelsea. I just want to know, as a Manchester City fan, I want to know how you view Manchester City now after the season. I mean, because we're all in our own Man City bubble and we're dealing with what we need to deal with ourselves. But I mean, as an outside fan who's, watched Manchester City dominate for the last 7-8 years.
Yeah.
To see what's going on this season, I mean, can you believe it? And C, is it like, are you approaching this game at weekend in a different mindset, thinking, you know what, we can go to the Etihad and take 3 points here?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, on your team, I think even at the start of the season, I did just slightly change it and make Arsenal favourites because I just sensed a little drop off would come purely because the window that you didn't look to replace Walker, and Kevin De Bruyne is usually picking up injuries, and I looked at the age of your squad and I just felt there would be a few people dropping off that over the years have obviously done an incredible job. But right now, there just wasn't enough of a refresh. However, I did not foresee it was going to be this big. And that's probably obviously because of Rodri. If Rodri is available in that midfield, you're probably ticking over a lot better. And you're comfortably in the top 3. Maybe, Liverpool has obviously caught me by surprise and caught many people by surprise, but you're not outside of the top 4 going on a streak of 11 games, etc. So but even Rodri, we're looking at Calvin Phillips going and no one really coming in terms of, Gundogan coming in, but we all know he's a squad player. He's not really a DM anyway in terms of like winning the ball back. And we're thinking, wow, I mean, Rodri, again, he's just going to have to go through it and basically be the only guy in that role. But in terms of us, because we're not in form either, I know we beat Wolves, but that was like our first win in 6. We're not firing in terms of in front of goal. Our striker, Jackson, isn't firing at the moment. We're not clinical. We don't put teams away, even if, say, you do give us the opportunity to be 1-0 up because you're struggling on transition with the midfielders. we're not necessarily going to just go 2-3. You know, we'll leave you in the game, and then that's how teams are coming back in it. Drop off in the second half, energy levels, and we've got a couple of injuries as well, and we can't defend. We always concede, and you got Haaland. And I remember saying it on the opening day of the season. You know, we need to watch Haaland. Cucurella is like, oh, Haaland is scared after the Euros. I said, no, he's not. I promise you, he's not scared. And then he goes and scores at Stamford Bridge. And I think it was Cucurella that was the last person trying to stop him.
Yeah,
and he didn't. So yeah, I would take a point. I would take a point because regardless of Man City dropping off, the quality is still there, and we're not at our best level either. And I think if we were to take a point, we'll still be ahead of you by a couple of points. We should still be in the top 4. Maybe we'll be 5th, but listen, it will be down to other games against teams that we should have beaten, not this game necessarily, as to why we'd be 5th at the end of the game week. So yeah.
I remember when we beat Chelsea at the start of the season, me and you having a conversation and us saying we're glad we got that game out of the way when we did.
Yeah.
Because
I said on the Big Six, I said I feel like that will be a good result. Because looking at what went on after that for City, the way we collapsed, there was no warning signs in that Chelsea game. We looked composed and we looked like we were getting the job done and we were clinical. But I feel like Chelsea were they wasn't ready. They were cold still. They hadn't played many minutes together. There's a lot of signings bundled together. He was trying to implement his style on the squad. So I thought it was a good time to catch him. But, I mean, they're coming here, you know, we got to mention him. The biggest gift in football the last few years has got to have been Cole Palmer. That with Manchester City, it was a gift. Cole, he's well thought of at City, even though he's a United fan. The Blues always get behind him. We always want him to do well. I mean, just speak to me on Cole Palmer, Matisse. I mean, the levels that he's reaching at Chelsea and that. And I don't think any Chelsea fan thought he was going to be like this.
Yeah, I remember when I was watching them, obviously, because we played each other like 4 times in one season. You guys knocked us out of the cup in the 3rd round of both domestic cups. So he played those games because obviously he was rotating a little bit. He played off the left sometimes. And he was obviously positionally versatile. And I looked at him when we signed him. I thought he's really good. He's a good player. Like every time I've watched him at City, I've been impressed, even though it's been cameos and Champions League sixth game when you've already qualified and all these things. But did I think he was going to come in and do this? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The statistics that he puts up for us are stupid. It's in line with all of our legends, you know, that played, you know, a decade, 2 decades ago. And the funny thing about Cole is that he doesn't, like recently, he's not even been at his best. Maybe because we haven't rotated him enough. Maybe he's tired over the winter period. I don't know. But he's still delivering. That's the weird thing. He's still having 3-4 big moments in a match. He's still scoring. He's ridiculous. He's like the way that he handles pressure, the way that he takes responsibility and just leads that attack. He's one of the few players we have that's ready to win a Premier League. He's ready, quality-wise, mentality-wise, consistency-wise. He's ready to win a Premier League. It's just whether the rest of them, you know, there's like maybe 2 or 3 others with him. The rest of them after that, whether they're ready, whether they can keep up. So it's incredible what he's done. And yeah, we couldn't be happier with him, man. If it wasn't for Cole Palmer, this hierarchy would be in a lot more problems because he's the one signing they've made for that 40 million range that's actually come in and banged. Everybody else has been like, not great, is it? Madueke, kind of good sometimes not so good. Neto, not great, not doing brilliantly. Sancho, okay, decent, good sometimes, but not crazy.
I agree with you on that.
You know, outside of Cole Palmer, it's either 100 million on midfielders, or it's pretty much just ticking on like some of them okay, decent, but nobody's pulling up trees like Cole. And he's always the reference, really, when people say, "Oh, come on, we've got to believe in this next signing coming in. Look what they did with Cole Palmer." So he's very much the anomaly right now, and he's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Just on that, while we're talking on Cole Palmer, because there's some, you know, it does look like Joe Shields is getting exactly what he wants there. I mean, if you look at it as far as You know, and for anyone that doesn't know, Joe Shields was part of the City EDS setup. Went from City to Southampton, right?
Yep.
Took a few of our players down to Southampton, and then he's coming at Chelsea. He's got Cole, he's got Lavia, he's got Sancho now, who's part of the setup. He's got Tosin, who's part of the setup, and then he went and got Maresca, who's part of the setup.
Yeah.
Do you think, because I've seen recently, you're now, well, I personally think you're going to get Delap. I think he will have been earmarking Delap for a while, probably mentioning Delap. And I think now with the season Delap's having, he's now going to kind of top B and whatever. Do you think Delap's going to end up at your club?
Yeah, I do, because he's obviously, like you said, the link to City, the link to Joe Shields and whatnot, the link to Maresca, I think, as well. But also the fact that he's in that price range that we like right now, which is like the 30 to 50 million price range. The wages are bang on what we're looking for as well. He's not on high wages. He's obviously going to be part of
English quota,
English as well. He might, you know, Ipswich might end up getting relegated, so that discount is there. Obviously, Southampton, it didn't end up being there with Lavia because of the competition from Liverpool, and maybe other top clubs will be looking at Isak or Gyökeres or Osimhen, and there's so many strikers out there that Delap. Not saying that there won't be competition, but he might just go under the radar a little bit for top clubs, and maybe it'll be clubs more in the middle part of the table that will look at him. Wouldn't be surprised if for Nottingham Forest, who are obviously trying to get Acuna and be really ambitious and push for champion, wouldn't be surprised if they looked at him maybe as like a younger player to come in. But yeah, I think we're nailed on to go for him. For sure, it's definitely a Chelsea signing.
I even saw you being linked with Douglas Luiz the other day as well. And again, he had a very brief period, but he had a period in our EDS as well, didn't he, Steve? So
we couldn't get a work permit for him, and somehow we managed to get one at Aston Villa. So, but I think City needs someone like that just as a stopgap. I feel like the summer's going to be the big market where we improve our midfield. But speaking of signings, City's brought three in. Cousinov, who I can only describe as he looks like a Bond villain. You know what I mean? He's got that like secret agent style fucking head that looks like he's gonna head a bag of cement.
He's gonna get some red cards in. I'm telling you.
Yeah, he's in. We've got the young Brazilian kid Reese, but it's pronounced it as Heze. As you know, with me on the Big Six, pronunciation is not my strong point. And then we brought Mamouche. So I think the City fans are excited about the game at weekend. We've got a possibility of seeing some new signings. Mamouche is getting everyone a bit excited because of his form in Germany. But one thing that was getting everybody excited last night on the Big Six was the thought of Alexandro Garnacho, as Saeed says it, signing for Chelsea. And Matisse, as you can tell by his face, is not overly pleased by this.
You're not
is Chelsea a dumping ground for Man United? Is it one of them where your bin's full and you sneak outside at night and you open someone else's bin and you put your shit in the bin and then you run away? Because that's what it feels like Man United are doing to you at the
minute. United, are getting them lot back for Mason Mount. That Mason Mount moves hurt them. So they're like, no, we're going to sting him for this one. You're not happy with it, Matisse?
Oh, no, I'm not happy at all.
I don't blame you.
No. We let go of Hudson-Odoi to Nottingham Forest for 3 million, right? Because we were bringing in Mudryk and all these players. Like, there was just no space left. And I was just like, you know what? I know he's a good player, but he needs to go and get game time. So let's just let him go. Hasn't worked out. Since then, we've signed Mudryk for 62 million. He's now failed to piss in a test tube. We can't get the results. Don't know what's going on there. So we move on. Now we're looking at, we've done Neto. Neto, really good Premier League player, but right now, really not delivering in front of goal, not getting enough shots off, not really getting the numbers up. The assists, it's different because we haven't got a target man. So that's been a bit disappointing, but still early. And then Garnacho at 60 million or 59 million. I mean, you would just think a team that had spent the amount of money we've spent would be able to put together better attacking options than this. You know, this is not a starting 11 level player. This is a squad player at best. It's another raw player. It's another player that makes the wrong decisions, isn't always consistent.
That,
so many parts of his game need improving. But that's why we're interested, because we love that. We love to develop and improve someone. We don't want to look at the finished article. We didn't even have a glance at Kvaratskhelia at Napoli, who would have been a similar price, still lowish wages, a lot more finished and polished. And it's just alarming to me, because no matter how many mistakes we make in the window, no matter how many players we sign 6 months ago and they're available 6 months later, there seems to always be a pocket of people in our fan base that have no interest in holding any of our directors to accountability and saying, actually, you spent a lot of money and I still can't sit here hand of heart and say we're going to be in a title race next season because your signings don't mirror that of a title challenging team. And everybody's just blasé about it. No, it's so weird. It's like they've attacked a weakness in our fan base, which is transfer dopamine and new players. And as long as you're new and you're young, which means you have potential, and there's a new name on the shirt and there's a new number and a new person in the kit, it's like almost playing FIFA. And
it's Twitter.
People, it's Twitter. It's
transfer. Who wins the transfer wars? Of we've got new shiny toys. I 100%. I see it on Twitter.
It's the biggest weakness. It's the biggest weakness in our fan base, because I can't see it ever ending. They are doing everything that our fan base love apart from winning trophies. Loads of people in, loads of people out, loads of, Chalobah, he doesn't fit the system. Get out the squad. Yeah, ruthless. Oh, wait, no, 6 months. We need him again. Yeah, bring him back. And it's just, Felix, can't wait. Felix in. Oh, wait, no, actually, no, Felix isn't really getting in game time 6 months later. AC Milan, just whatever. It's just ridiculous, bro. It's beyond ridiculous. Well, he's linked with moves away. He doesn't get opportunities to really play consistently. He only plays really against Wolves, Ipswich, Leicester, and Southampton. Those are his only games. I think he didn't even start Wolves. He came off the bench. He doesn't play unless it's a bottom 3 team in the Prem. And then Nkunku's obviously not involved either. Disasi's not involved really. Well, come off the bench, but again, he wasn't started over a kid for weeks on the trot. This is the kryptonite of our fan base. If there's one thing you can get our fan base with, is the word project, key part of project, young player, price tag in, and just keep the ball rolling. And you just keep doing that. And as long as you're not in 10th, as long as you're in like 4th, and we're talking Arsene Wenger, Emirates, Arsenal territory, where you're not really doing anything. You're just constantly trying to compete and really qualify for Champions League.
Get you to that Champions League money, and then we're good.
Which we haven't even qualified for once yet under this ownership. This season we have to qualify for Champions League. We still have no sponsor on the front of our shirt. But best believe if we don't qualify for Champions League, we finish 6th or 5th or whatever, and I don't know what coefficient points will do. If we sign some young players, even if they're not in positions that we need, it doesn't matter. We'll move on to next season. Everybody will be happy.
What's the crack with Romeo Lavia? I mean, I think all City fans wish him the best as well, but his injury record is quite concerning. He doesn't seem to be able to get a run of games under his belt without being injured. Is he injured again?
Yeah, he's injured again, man. He's not going to be available for this game. I don't even think Enzo Fernandez is available for this game. I'm pretty sure he's out for a few weeks, and then the manager said that Lavia is out for longer than Enzo Fernandez. We just don't know how long. I think it's getting to the point with Lavia is I'm slightly losing faith, because he can't even string together a couple of games, and it's like it's so bad because he's so good. Every time he plays, you're like, wow, man, this guy's so press resistant. When he receives the ball, he always finds a solution. No one can get the ball off him, but he cannot play 2 games on the trot without going out. And I'm like, this is the engine room of the team. I need to know my midfielders going into the season can stay fit, You know,
it's funny because when he was at City, Lavia was spoke of so highly, same as at Chelsea. Everyone was seeing him as at the time, I think even Fernandinho replacement. Then, the Rodri come in and do the Rodri, kind of be the Rodri replacement. And City, but the breakthrough season, so the season where Cole Palmer started getting game time, Lavia was supposed to be getting game time, but he was injured. And then we sold him. And at that point, I kind of thought they must have got rid of him for a reason. And I think it probably is that the physios have looked at him and gone, because now, I mean, he had a couple of injuries at Southampton as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think he did. There were I think they were like knocks and niggles, but he did play. He played a lot more at Southampton than he's ever played for us. Yeah. He was next to James Ward-Prowse in that in that two-man midfield, and he was playing pretty much week in, week out. And he's come here and he's not played more than 10 full 90s in 2 years.
No, that's mad. And the problem is, though, it is very much like Reece James as far as when he does play, the difference he makes is insane. But it's just, you can't. And same with Reece James. When Reece James plays, instant impact. First game back, Reece James will make an impact. I was just going to say quickly something to you, Steve. Obviously, we've got a couple of new players to come in. I really want to see Kuzanov start. Hopefully, as a kind of right centre back, maybe as a 4 centre backs. But we're about to go into a tough run now. We've got Chelsea, and then I think the week after that is it.
We've got Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool,
Newcastle, Villa. I think is somewhere in the mixer as well. It's great. We've got Marmoush over the line. We've got Kuzanov over the line. I think Hayes is going to probably be more. He's around the squad, but we might not see him too involved. My big frustration is we've now got, we're 23rd, 24th of January. We haven't addressed the one position that I think the whole fan base wants us to address. Do you think that's a concern going into this run now that we haven't got someone over the line?
Yeah, we spoke about it last night, the Big Six. I think Grizz mentioned it. He said, nobody's addressed the elephant in the room, which is Manchester City's midfield. And as we know, we knew last night in Paris, we went 2-0 up and we knew that it wasn't capable of holding a lead. We can ship in goals left, right and centre, but it's the fact that the midfield has got no screen in front of it. The Kovacic-Gundogan thing, they're too old. A lot of the midfields in the Premier League are physical, powerful, fast legs. We haven't got that. We've got Bernardo Silva in there trying his best. And you can't do things you want to do if you've got a fucking midfield that's trying its best.
Yeah.
Manchester City have always had the best, you know what I mean? Midfield. It's always been powerful. It's always been able to control the game. If Manchester City went 2-0 up in any of the last 10 years, they're seeing the game out. This season, we've gone 3-0 up against Feyenoord, draw. 1-0 up against Lisbon, 4-1, got beat. 2-0 up against Paris, got beat 4-2. 2-0 up against Brentford, 2-2. Do you know what I mean? 1-0 up against Man United, got beat 2-1. There's an alarming facts there that we can all see that Man City can't hold the lead. So if Man City go up against Chelsea at weekend and score 1-0, it's not the end of the world like it used to be. Chelsea can think, don't worry about it, because we know we're going to get chances. This team can't hold the lead. And I'd be absolutely flabbergasted if Manchester City have not got a midfielder or two lined up this week, because I don't know what we're going to do to the end of the season if we haven't.
Yeah, agree. And do you know what? I know we can probably address it in the summer, but the truth is when Rodri comes back, over the last 4 seasons, Rodri has probably been a 75-game-a-season player. If we're looking at for City and for Spain together, that will never be again, right? It will never be again. With the injury he's had, it's going to have to be cut down. So we need to get someone in longer term as well. So I do understand maybe they're thinking we want to get the right person. We can't just rush it. Get someone in to see us for the next 4 months. We need to think about the future. But it just concerns me going into this run of games. So are we all agreeing this weekend's going to be a high-scoring game, probably?
It probably has goals in it. Yeah, unless the two managers decide to go super cagey and they don't want to lose the game, maybe then it becomes a bit of a ball fest and the tempo is really slow because the midfielders aren't really firing. But in terms of us leaking goals and you guys leaking goals, there's definitely goals.
It's interesting you said, so you've got no Lavia, no Enzo, so it'll be a Caicedo and
it could be Caicedo, probably Cucurella. Dewsbury Hall might be there as well, but Dewsbury Hall isn't really a DM for me. But he could be in there. It'll probably be Cucurella coming in from left back into midfield, and then Dewsbury
He'll play on the flanks. Sancho play? Will he start?
Sancho's a weird one because Sancho could start, and then it could be Neto or Madueke on the right, which is probably what I would like to see, because I think Sancho's one of those wingers that we can actually depend upon to keep the ball and to be a lot more careful with his decisions and make the right calls when he has it. Whereas the other two are just turnover machines potentially. If they're not playing well, they'll just turn over possession constantly. So yeah, I probably would start Sancho and go maybe Madueke on the right, because I don't think Neto has a place in this team until we have a striker that can head the ball. That's honestly what it is. Like he doesn't get into goal scoring situations enough. He doesn't have enough shots, and every time he does put in a decent delivery, there's no one to head the ball unless it's Cucurella. So I'd probably leave him out and play Madueke. At least then maybe Madueke might score, or at least take more shots.
Yeah.
Well, to wrap it up, we'll go with a score prediction. Obviously, Matisse, we'll start with you as the guest. What do you think the score will be?
I'll go 2-2. Yeah.
That's
goals.
I am going to go 2-1 City. And I think we need a win, by the way. I think we need a win. This one, with the run we've got, I think, and the form Chelsea win, we need to make this one count because, after this, we've got probably, with all respect to Chelsea's, probably based on form, some tougher games. So I think we have to make this one count.
No, I agree. I feel like at home, in front of the fans, new signing, maybe give them a little bit of a boost. I feel like we need it, but I think it's going to be tight. So I'm going to go 2-1 City as well. But Matisse, thank you for coming on. Always a pleasure, mate. Always a pleasure to see you. I'd like to say good luck, but I don't mean it. And, after giving you the gift of Cole Palmer, you need to give us the gift of 3 points because we are struggling now. Yeah. So listen, people, Matisse, where can they find you, mate?
Channels MAH, just 3 letters, people. You can check out our content there. Sometimes we discuss rivals, but mainly Chelsea because there's so much going on at the moment. And if you're looking for head loss if Garnacho signs, then that is where I'll be.
and also great trips abroad as well. You get on there as well.
Yes, the Kazakhstan vlog that you did was legendary, mate. It was one of the best I've ever watched. So if anyone's after something today to go and watch, just random as fuck, you want to see Matisse in traditional Kazakhstan uniform with a giant spear with a blade on it, riding on donkey back or something, you need to go and watch that. Yeah. But no, Matisse, you're the first guest on our new channel, so thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
And we'll touch base with you after the game. And listen, people, please like and subscribe to the new channel at We Are the South Stand MCFC. It's on TikTok and Instagram. And let us know what you think. Are Manchester City going to bounce back and beat Chelsea? Or are Chelsea going to come and take the piss, have lots of nice gifts, and walk away with 3 points? Let us know in the comments. See everybody soon. Need to end it down.